Hmm. Hey, how you doing? Man in the red cape. My volume coming through okay? My volume coming through okay? Hey, buddy. Creatively productive in drawing. Yeah, I won't lie. I was playing some Skyrim Survival, and it was a little hard to pry myself away from it to get to working on some stuff. But it's important to me, so I'm gonna work on it. Oh, you're all good, man. I was just saying hi. Just being friendly. Thank y'all for joining so fast. I really appreciate that. The Kaizel Online RP mod. I'm not familiar with that. Is that um, like what's that about? Also, sorry about my creaky ass chair. Uh, I was supposed to be getting a new chair a couple days ago, and it was going to be awesome, but it got delayed like twice, and now it's coming on Monday. So I'm stuck with the creek bucket for now, as I call it. It's the first time I've ever called it that. I see, I see. I've tried getting into online games more, but I don't know, I find it kind of hard to get into them. I'm also a sensitive young man, so I don't love when people are mean. I play TF2 with friends. That's about like all of my multiplayer stuff that I do, other than co-op. Um, I just try to mute people on TF2. Well, that's good. You don't hear it creaking. Oh, thanks. Um, yeah, a lot of my streams have just been me working on whatever I can think of that could use some working on. Um, I work a lot on the setting off camera, but just the other day I realized, like, man, I feel like in my head people understand the setting a lot more than they actually do. Um, and that's not to say it's anyone's fault. In fact, it's my fault because I feel like I don't share enough about it. So I've got like a little video in the works that's gonna hopefully explain the setting a little more. It's like the nature of this massive forest and how people get trapped in it. I think for a long time I was just kind of indecisive about it, but now I have a much, much clearer idea of what it is, so I feel more comfortable committing to something like that. But I guess to talk about what I want to work on today, um, there are dungeons and crypts in this setting that I'm working on, taking a lot of inspiration from Skyrim, just like the super immersive dungeons and crypts and all that good stuff. And I want something like that for my setting because, I imagine it as a video game. Even if it never becomes a video game, this is just the context in which I imagine it. It's an open world video game. Problem is, that stuff is hard. Trying to visualize an entire dungeon or crypt, it's not easy. I mean, what is it you think of when you think of crypt? You think of a place full of coffins and dead bodies, maybe candles under a church, and that makes sense. That makes sense. Like, I mean, sure, you can draw some columns, some coffins, some candles, but then you start thinking about, well, why? What's the point of all this in the end? What is the story behind all of it? And what rooms are you gonna find in there? Like, what are the specific rooms that are connected to one another? And that's kind of just been a big thing that I've been trying to come up with. I've been thinking about. So, I guess today I'm thought about working on a few props just to populate this place. I know what to base them on. I know the goddess of Copper Vale is kind of the prime figure that is displayed in this crypt and temple. So just trying to make some stuff that conveys the worship of her. And she is called the Dreamer or the Veil Mother. well-known city or town in the forest? Yes, that would be Red Fork. It is the starting town where most people who get lost and show up to the Vale, will end up. Hey, how you doing, Sidon? Thanks for joining in. Sorry I couldn't stream yesterday. It was a busy day. But sometimes it's good to get a reminder like, oh yeah, I haven't streamed in a while. Did not expect to see the man in the red cape or me. What are we doing? We're working on a bit of set dressing for a crypt. It is the crypt that houses um, the glass ghost. And I'm not sure if everyone here has seen the glass ghost or not, but I figure I may as well pull him up just to give people like some sort of reference. There he is. So he is a ghost, as you can see, and he is the guardian of the crypt I'm designing. Yeah, it is very elusive. I was doing Thursdays for a bit, but I kind of fell out of it. I just feel like my personal schedule is so random these days. Let's see. What's it? What what is the goddess like domain or god of? I see what you're saying. So to explain the Veil Mother, her domain, to put it very plainly, is autumn. The season of autumn, harvest, bounty. That is what I would boil it down to. What she really is a bit more layered than that. She is an ancient being that no one alive that we know of has ever even seen. She has ancient structures, statues depicting her all around the Vale. And people hold this belief that if you get far enough into the Vale, you'll find her. And through her is the only way to escape. They call her the Dreamer because they believe that it is in her sleep that she's able to conjure up the forest around you. It's while sleeping, she manifests things. No, there's only one glass ghost. That took a little while to land on because I brought up the idea of like more than one lantern tender at one time, but after working on it more, I feel like it works best as a unique character. There are more ghosts in the setting, but only one of these guys. I would like to get this lantern a bit more um, updated. It's just kind of bland. I mean, I guess it's not like the main point of this illustration, but still, it needs a little bit of work. You know, one thing at a time. We're not even working on the glass ghost today. We're working on the crypt that it inhabits. So I have actually got some images, well, at least one image with some concepts for iconography found around the crypt. So I want to get that posted up in here so I can have it to look at. There we go. There it is. So, as you can see, I did some writing up here. I did a little exercise where I'm, you know, like I said, it's very hard to visualize a large dungeon or crypt. So instead of thinking of it simply as a environment, I'm trying to think of environments like characters. So instead of just a dungeon full of coffins, think of a rough, disheveled old woman who's covered in old patterns that have long faded, covered in roots, hair like roots. She holds close the bones of her people. You know, they're just like strapped to her, hanging off, um, crumbling almost because she's just so weary, just so aged. But she has a guardian watching over her, someone who wants the best for her. But this guardian is dangerous. He's very protective. He does not want anyone to mess with her, to desecrate her. And that's kind of the mindset I'm keeping in mind while I'm trying to design this dungeon. This imagery you're seeing here are symbols that could depict the Veil Mother, or some also say the Dreamer, some also say the Autumnal Mother. So urns that once held the ashes of the dead. I imagine in coffins, this symbol carved into the stone of, it's like a cycle that symbolizes the it's circular. It's like I said, a cycle, and autumn is kind of a part of that cycle of what is born must die so that the cycle can begin again. And you know, I just thought it was a very interesting look to have her eyes covered up like she is asleep. And it also looks a bit like a sun. I guess, like, I don't honestly, like, I don't know how much the sun really plays into this other than just like the orange glow of autumn sunlight. But I think it does the trick. If anything, I just want to simplify it more. Okay, let's see. I've kind of been blabbering. Let me look at some of these comments here. Is the veil like a never-ending forest, or it's like you get caught in the trance and it's actually that long you just never get far enough to see out of it? So I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen the show From, but it functions similarly to the the small town in From, where when you try and leave, you try and like head outside of the known perimeter of the forest, you just end up back in it as if you turned around, and no one can get out of it. No one's figured it out. There's a theory that if you go deep enough, you go far enough, you'll find the goddess and she will set you free. but even that is just speculation. Let's see. Glasgow's is such a well designed. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I had like an original design that was a lot more dynamic, and I tried working on that for a bit, but um, I kept going back to that, I guess, the silhouette here, and it's not dynamic, but it much more fits the stiff, unnatural nature that I imagine the Glass Ghost always had. Thank you, Red Cape. Now with the board game, I'm just going to playtest it with simple paper cards. Make a proper wooden token. Yes, for people in here, Sidon is working on a board game for his setting. He's posted it in my Discord and probably a few other Discords, I would assume. I'm not sure. But if you get a chance to check out my Discord channel, check out the reading section. Thank you. Yeah, like, I think that Copper Vale is kind of my love letter to stuff like Silent Hill and Blair Witch Project, just these very uncertain, cryptic settings that are a little bit of a double-edged sword with world building, because on one hand it's intriguing, on the other hand it's really hard to share stuff without giving away too much. I have so much. I have so much information. I don't know if it's all canon right now, but I have like a big Figma document full of lore for the setting that I've not even covered yet, because it might potentially spoil the entire setting. But I mean, you tell me what you guys think, if I should keep that hidden or if I should just say screw it and like be very open with the setting and what's going on. Okay. So we have these here. I'm just gonna like keep it to the side here. As you can see, I've got some references on the side. Let's see, so here's what I think the move is. I need to find a more satisfying way to share it, huh? See. Also, if I have to leave abruptly, it's because I'm picking up my fiance from work, but that's not far, and I'll be like right back. I'll just like close the stream and start it again if and when I have to do that. Okay. Let's try and get some shapes up here. That is a big thing. Um, it's like a big fear, not like to kind of give away everything and risk. Yeah, it's nice because in that you get to share all your work, all your hard work. It's like a nice release, but it's bad in that, like, oh no, if people like don't care about the mystery anymore, what is going to bring people back? see, I really like how these larger roots coming off of the side appear, almost like horns. Also, I suppose that I could be using the symmetry tool, but I want to stop depending on the symmetry tool so much. You know, it's useful, but I find that it makes things look a little bit unnatural when you use it. Like the proportions are too symmetric. This. Always gotta flip that canvas. That's why I try to do instead. Just flip the canvas. As you can see, this is like very complicated. This is you know, say that you're like a devotee to this god, or you're just like a minimum wage stone carver that's been commissioned to carve this into a coffin. Like, bro, are you telling me I have to carve this into 100 coffins on my minimum wage salary of a potato and a shilling a day? No one's gonna do that. No one's gonna want to do that. Sure, they like, and maybe if like they believe in that god, they'll do it. But let's try and get in their heads. Let's try and get in the heads of these people. Like, no, there's like a bunch of random branches. Ease up on it. Okay. Maybe instead of all these roots, we just have a few coming out. Ooh, I'd be very interested in the redesign. Sidon. Where did I learn concept drawing from? Oh, well, a lot of it hit, like, I went to school for art, but I won't lie, it was not quite worth it. So I did not learn my concept art style from school. Um, where I learned concept drawing was YouTube and browsing mini concept art books. The style that I most try to emulate in my concept work is that of Adam Adamowicz, who was one of the in-house concept artists at Bethesda who worked on Skyrim. Um, it's because of him and Ray Lederer, at least from my understanding, that Skyrim really looks the way it does. And Adam Adamowicz had this very like constructive style where, you know, it was heavy on the guidelines and imperfect and done traditionally most of the time. And I find it very satisfying, I guess, all of those construction lines. I never thought of myself as like someone who would use a heavy amount of construction lines. It seemed boring and tedious, but I get it. I get it now. I love construction lines. They're great for adding perspective to very large, complicated objects. If you're interested in trying to learn like more technical, constructive styles of concept art. Adam Adamowicz's Skyrim art portfolio is on Flickr. All of the studio art, or at least most of it, and I look at it maybe almost not quite once a day, but something like that. Yeah, of course. There's a an overly long answer for a very simple question you asked. Okay. So a little bit simpler. You see, it's like almost like a flower, which I don't hate. There are flowers associated with fall, so that's fine. Also imagine some leaves and whatnot coming off. Yeah, we'll do a few different designs, or very similar designs, but we'll work on them. Make it easier to replicate. Yeah, once you start getting into mathematics, it can make it can be like a good tool to remember things. Yeah, it's like kind of making sense. I found out I really like this like really uh dry marker for sketching. I like how you can really build up the values on it as you mark. Additive. I want to make one of those dialogue scenes I was talking about. Have a little more space. Yep. Have something for the people's hands to be doing while they're talking. And I mean, it sounds like it's the game itself is even used to solve those disputes. Well, that's the thing. It's been hard to figure out the goal of world building for me. Originally, it started out as a way to just keep me drawing consistently, but then I had I had a really tough time for a bit just thinking about what is the end goal here. Am I like I have like a video on my channel about aimlessness. Um, these days, it's I guess expression more than anything. Like I want to be able to make my own world and make it feel real in whatever way that might be. Um, and I want to improve my artwork to a point where it begins to really feel real, and my writing. But I mean, simple answer is love of the game, man. I enjoy it. Like from what I've experienced, it is the ultimate form of creativity. Really throwing yourself into an idea. Let's see, let's try a different pen. This is a good pen. I like these fine liner pens. You don't have to worry about line weight. You can kind of imply line weight with the scribbly style that you can employ with the fine liners. Like that. Like you look at this, and this is a big line. There's also just something satisfying about line work that's very scribbly and almost careless. Yeah, it is important. Very important. Art, writing, world building is probably like the most fulfilling thing that I do. No, that's not. Okay. One of the most fulfilling things I do. You can't like base your whole life around it. I mean, you have to like make time for life and all the good and bad that life has. Um, but I mean, I guess like the pursuit involved in artwork, the struggle, the pain, the sadness, the highs and the lows. It makes for something that money can't buy and AI cannot generate. And what do people do for the fun in the Vale? Uh, I'd like to think that they do music and storytelling, like the Valley folk. You know, they're based on Appalachia, like the Appalachian people. So just imagine like sitting around the fire playing some banjo adjacent instrument. Uh, they drink moonshine. They like shine is a big thing in the Vale. Aside from that, um, for fun, oh, mingling. It's probably pretty cool to see like the new Wayfarer that comes in. Like, oh hey, this guy like is from a completely different culture than ours. Like, let's see if we can trade anything for what he's got. He's got like maracas. We've never even seen those before. That's not cheesy. I think that that's a very true thing to say. It is a skill that you will never perfect, and that is like a good thing to have. Really be a point to do it if you were just amazing. I mean, I guess maybe there would be a point to do it if you were perfect. I mean, you can always like just keep coming up with worlds for the sake of it, but I mean, that's aside the point. You will never reach perfection unless you're Kentaro Miura. It was looking like an octopus. Don't love that. That is the fun part. Maybe that's the real punk rock. You like leaves. Sounds like they come to decisions very quickly then. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but it just like I don't know, like I'm trying to imagine something that people would wear on their outfits, like their religious robes. Add a bit of shadow to it. Together. Racing. Probably house rules too, I would assume, in stake. It does. There's no one way to do it. Uh, Quite literally, I put my I don't know if you're familiar with Figma, but it's a little bit like PureRef, where you can just put down a bunch of images and a bunch of sections and writing in a bit of like a messy um, scatter map or bubble map even. And I like that because it's all in front of you and you don't have to worry about organization as much. I mean, you can like literally make big boxes that has a name like locations, and inside that big box you can have a bunch of small boxes that have those locations. You can have another big box that says characters, and small boxes inside there that have your characters. You can have a box for your timeline, all that stuff. Um, but here's where it gets like really ridiculous in the way that I do it. I have two of those. I have one that's like a really rough, like word vomity uh, document that has stuff that's both canon and non-canon, and I have one that is very organized, like a lot more organized, where only the most refined stuff makes it into that document. So, for example, I've got a bunch of ideas on the back burner right now for different monsters and locations, but so like those are going to go in the rough file. But say I want something to do with the Capramen, like I have a video on the Capramen. I have final drawings and final lore on them. That goes in the refined documents. I'm just being very careful to not let it become a situation where I'm like, okay, I've got the rough document and I have the secondary rough document and I have the third rough document and all those documents until it makes it to the final refined document. I want two to be like the maximum. Okay, okay. We have this. Now let's just like play around. See this see this coffin here? Here's a little something that we do in concept art. And for a long time I didn't totally understand concept art, but so I don't want to sound like I'm trying to talk about stuff I don't know what I'm talking about. I know a bit about concept art, so I feel like I can speak on this. Cover it up very roughly because we're making variants. Also trying to think about like 3D modelers and like how much of a bitch this is going to be to model. So that's why I need to further simplify this image, this symbol. But we'll get there. crazy spider web. And who he do it? Yes, it is. May as well um, embrace that fact. Interesting look. I imagine if we go with something like this, we're also going to have some kind of design here. On the sides, it's like rising up to it. Thank you. Just like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm wondering, I'm just thinking it's over designed. Like, it does not require this much to function, to work. Small. What if instead it was like on the middle here? Line. Perspective. Mm-hmm. Well, are they gaudy in their design, like whomever this coffin is? I always thought of this temple as relatively like humble. So I think that could be a reason why I am feeling some kind of disconnect in designing in this way. I mean, they still like show their devotion. They have like some reliquaries and they have symbolism and statues. But I mean, nothing like first of all, it's incredibly old. Like this stuff is long abandoned, so it's going to be rough. But and it's also not going to be like anything gold encrusted. It's like stone brick. I There we go. That's nice. Nice. I feel like maybe something like that would be a good middle ground. So, and that's how I feel looking at like people like Monster Garden and seeing just how easily he can throw lines on a page and make something that looks like that passes for what he's trying to make it look like. The tools of digital are incredibly convenient. Like just being able to like heal this symbol off and warp it using perspective. It saves a lot of time. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, this is basically a flat image on the stone. It's not really giving off the sense of volume that I want it to give off, but it's doing the trick. Like it's at least giving me an idea of how the thing will look. On top of that, like some tree imagery. That's why I have in the columns up here. Have some urns. I imagine like wrapped in old leather strips and whatnot. Hmm. Yeah, let's do some urns. Let's do some urns. Big shapes. We love big shapes. Also, I'm trying to like keep a shape language in mind here. Like I said, keeping like a lot, like keeping stuff circular to a point to give it that sense of cycle, of like the cyclical nature of the seasons. Imagine like fall flowers kind of like dried up and all crunchy around this dungeon. Tell you what, playing Skyrim, like I'm so glad that I'm finally getting back into playing Skyrim because it's incredibly fun, the exploration, but it's also like I'm studying. Um, Getting a bit into, I guess, into personals, like there is a purpose in addition to like the fact that I want to design this dungeon, but I am trying to break into environmental art as a career. So this is kind of like my big project for my portfolio to try and do. I'm also learning 3D, so I want to try and make 3D models of stuff like this. I'm not great at 3D, still a noob, but I'm better than I was a month ago. It's like a finger. Mm-hmm. Wrapping. Impossibly old wrapping. Mm-hmm. Ooh. What are they made of, typically? Like porcelain? Wood? Or metal? Small. Small. Bones. Cool. That's a good one. What's going on? Oh. Something I do a lot in Krita. I accidentally lasso a little spot like that, and I'm like, why can't I draw? It's pretty easy to fix, though. All my homies love Krita. Photoshop too expensive. Ooh, ammo cartridges, that's pretty cool. Nice way of making it like an in-world thing. Making it like appropriate. All right, guys. I gotta get going. I'm gonna go pick up my fiance from work. How long has it been? Let's see. Uh, I may jump on a little later, but if not, I'll jump on soon, sometime soon again. Most likely working on the same thing. Kind of show you all the progress once again. But thank y'all for jumping in, joining for this. I'll talk to y'all later.